Hi everyone, I hope you're well. This is CoinsKid. Just diving into the Bittorrent chart right here. I've been asked so many times to do this, but obviously I'm so busy. I've got a list of projects that I need to get through, and I'm trying to get through them as quick as I can, guys. Okay, and then get the videos out there to you so you can take a look and hopefully I can deliver some information to you about the project and potentially where we're going with it. Okay, so basically. I can see a couple of things here. I can see a couple of things straight away off the bat. You know, there's one is that we have absolutely bolted up here for Bittorrent, ticker BTT versus USDT, and immediately you can see that we are really far away from these EMAs. And you know, we talk about these EMAs so much on the weekly on the channel here on the weekly time frame. Just zoom out, okay? Zoom in and it gets really confusing. Zoom out and you can sort of get a really good broader view of where we're potentially going and looking at going for these tokens. Okay, so always zoom out on your charts, guys. So looking at Bittorrent on a weekly time frame, immediately see that we are very overextended. We are really overbought. Looking at the RSI, the MACD is really high as well, guys. Okay, so we do look like a cool off is imminent, and you can see we've got that cool off there in a weekly time frame. We're painting this red candle there, which means it's actually coming down. So you could be looking at something like this. Okay, but something I want to draw your attention to is the RSI. Okay, there's a divergence there on the RSI on the weekly time frame, because what you've got on the weekly time frame here, guys, is you've got a high, yeah, and a lower high, and you can see that. Okay, and that's a divergence. And then on the weekly time frame on the price, you've got a high and then a higher high. So immediately you've got a divergence. You can see that we're starting to roll over. Okay, so it basically looks like we are going to roll over at the moment, and we do look like we're forming this big red candle, big sell-off candle there. And you could potentially be looking at a similar sort of repeat of that, where we did go down and we consolidated, allowed the EMA to catch up to us as it is catching up just there, you know, and consolidated like that for a bit, and then got the bounce and retest after a few weeks of consolidation. You would see this RSI down here. You would see this sort of creep back down into the, you know, not the overbought trajectory there, and reset itself, and then curl up and push on in this continuation trend. You can see that the MACD is really high there, guys. So you're probably looking at something like this on the MACD now, where this starts to turn and this starts to tail off the histogram. So basically a cool down, a bit of a reset, okay? And it's perfectly healthy, guys, because you can see that it's got really, really overextended. You know, we could keep going, you know, it could keep going really parabolic, but the more it goes up, the more it comes down. And you will see these levels just sort of slow down and catch up to it, just like it did here. It got up so much, started to cool down, started to consolidate, go sideways before it broke out again. And I do think that you are potentially looking at that same scenario now for Bittorrent, okay, for BTT against the USDT. So what we'll do, we'll start to dive in a little bit more on the lower time frames here, guys, and see what we can see and set up some levels of support if it was to break down. Okay, immediately on the weekly time frame, I would say that what we'll do, we'll bring out the VPVR, okay, and you can draw a support line. So this is VPVR for BTT on the weekly time frame. So what you can do, just there, you can see where you're potentially looking at support. Okay, so this hole here, you got a big hole in that, right, where we went up so ferociously. So that hole, if we was to lose that, you would potentially see us come down to this level of support there. You see where there was a lot of trading volume. So straight away, what you do, you drop a support line in, just like that, guys. Okay, so you drop your support line in, so you know the previous high, okay, is a potential bottom in this next swing low that we are potentially forming right now. Potentially forming another swing low like that before we get the bounce up and push on for BTT there, guys. Okay, so that's what we're looking at, potentially a cool off, a blow off top, a level of consolidation, a retest of this previous high, which would be a rock solid support on the weekly time frame. So that's a weekly time frame bottom, in my opinion, that target there, which is 001. So what we're going to do now is dive even deeper into the chart and see what we can see as levels of support going forward, or potentially if we could see more upside. Okay, but given the weekly divergence there on the RSI and the fact that it is sort of playing out because we have this high and this high, and then we have a high and a lower high. You can kind of see that, guys. Yeah, okay, so this next high there from that high is just slightly down a bit, and you can see that it has started to turn. It has started to curl down, which solidifies this divergence here. It's called a bearish divergence, when the price action is going differently from the RSI. It's an indication of a rollover. You know, if I'd have looked at this a couple of weeks ago, I would have been looking at this RSI saying we're ready to roll over, to cool down, guys, because we are painting that divergence. Unfortunately, you know, I should have got to it quicker, and I do apologise for anyone that's involved in the project that has been badgering me. But again, I am so busy, and I'm trying to get through all these lists. I've got multiple projects here that I've got listed that I do need to look through, and I will get there, guys. Honestly, I will. And I am trying to get a lot of it in the channel as well, in the Telegram channel there, like posting stuff and keep everyone updated. So anyway, enough rambling on. We'll dive in. On the weekly, we look like we're going to consolidate and come down and potentially test that bottom there, okay, as rock solid support. So what we'll do, we'll dive deeper into the chart here on the 4 hourly. I like to look at the 4 hourly, guys, as you know, on the channel. On the VVPR, then you can see that immediately, like, we've got these holes in the PVR, okay. So these again can give you levels of support and resistance, guys. Just straight off the bat, you can see, you know, you've got a high level of resistance there, okay. So you can see this resistance, which we are hitting right now. We are hitting that resistance. If we was to get over that resistance, okay, then you could see it's just a cascade of buying to the top, okay. So you could take out that high quite easily. But what we're looking at here on the weekly time frame is a level of consolidation where we're hitting this level here of resistance, and you may potentially start to see us fall into these holes, okay. So I would definitely be targeting that level there as a level of support. Then again, when you lose that level there, you would be falling into these holes, and you would be targeting these levels here. So as you can see, a really good, really strong level of support is this particular level here, okay, right, which is really far down under the EMAs there, guys, okay. So that is our local bottom, our swing low on the weekly time frame, this level here, which we've marked, okay. So again, I'll mark it on here so you can see. So that is a really rock solid bottom. If we was to lose these EMAs, okay, if we was to lose them EMAs, then you would be looking at this as a really rock solid bottom. But as we go down, if it does go down, guys, by the way, you know, you're looking at this level here, there's a level of support, and then you're looking at that level there as a level of support as well, guys. So what you could do, you could see is lose this level, okay, then sell off, then bounce off that level, which does sit between the 20 EMA and the 55 EMA on the 4 hourly time frame. So that is not off the cards, okay. You may potentially see a rollover, lose this 20 EMA retest, and then sort of bounce down here in between these EMAs before we actually start to creep up again. Just a level of consolidation. And if we was to lose any more momentum, then you would be targeting these levels down here as solid support. This, in my opinion, is a rock solid support in this entire bull market for BTT, okay. I would not expect to be going any lower than that in this current bull market. So they're just basically levels of support, guys. You could see us just sort of consolidate in this range for a bit, come down, test these levels of support, okay, which would validate that weekly time frame, allowing the EMA to catch up there, take a call off before we pop off again. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to look back at the weekly time frame here, and I'm going to lay down a price prediction after a level of consolidation, okay, because if BTT was to continue to go up anymore, it would start to go parabolic, okay, and the more parabolic it goes, the more it's going to run out of fuel, guys, and you're going to see that big correction eventually, okay. So you've now got your levels of support moving forward. So what we need to do is potentially look at a price prediction. So we'll drop the PVPR out. So what you could see, this move here from here up to there was very similar from this move at the bottom to this move at the top. So what you could do, you could say, okay, so that breakout from that position there was to there, and that was an appreciation of 224%. Then we had that appreciation from that swing low there up to there was roughly, you know, over 200 and some %. So what we could be looking at here is a breakout once we touch this swing low on BTT in a continuation trend, right? Because this is what these are continuation trends. They're basically big elongated bull pennants, guys. So what we did, we went up there and we formed this kind of bull pennant just here, okay. See that? So and when we went back up, we sort of just went up the same length as the ball pennant. You see that? So when we broke out, we just sort of went up what we've gone up already. So what we're potentially looking at here is a very, very similar structure to what we've got here, okay, where we do go sideways for a little bit. We do consolidate. We do test the bottom, the swing bottom there of this level like this, okay. Well, we do something like this, test these levels of support, and then we'll start to move up again. So once we do move up, you can target it by going from the breakout again, okay, to your breakout, and it sort of gives you a level after consolidation. So it's to break out up here or down here somewhere like that. Let's say we were mid-level sort of there. You could be looking at us pushing up towards that level there for BTT, and that would give you an appreciation from this moment. If you was take on that trade from this moment, you would be potentially looking at a 83%, 89% trade, guys. Okay, but that's after a level of consolidation. You may see us come down even lower for BTT than that, but I'm not expecting more upside from this moment here for BTT because it's got so far away from the EMAs on the weekly time frame. Okay, I would definitely be expecting some level of consolidation right now, and possibly forming another bull pennant on the weekly time frame, just as we have done here. Okay, very, very similar price structure, but I may be wrong. I know, you know, but it's not healthy to see us get that far away from the EMA, guys. Yeah, so that's a quick update on BTT, okay, guys. Hope you enjoyed that video. Please do subscribe to the channel. I will try and do more technical analysis on BTT. Keep you updated on that particular project right there, guys. But so far, just to summarize, we do look like we're potentially looking at a bit of a cool off. I've got some lower level support targets in there for you guys as well that you can keep an eye on. Okay, if we was to lose these levels, then potentially look at these levels as major support, and definitely the previous high there as a level of support, as you can see we have marked that in there. But yeah, we're looking at a potential bull pennant just like here, a reversal of this, let the EMAs catch up, get a little bit of a refueling off the EMAs before we continue onwards and upwards for BTT. Okay, thank you guys, bye bye.